Movie Sonic. Okay. Talked about this recently on a stream, but this is the Mardic Minute version. So, every Sonic that's a different actor, because of my acting experience, I go into it with the understanding that it's going to be a shift for who the character is. On the stream I'm referring to, which I'll link now, I compared a voice actor to a live performance like a lead singer, in the sense that the lead singer isn't like the most talented individual compared to the drummer or the bassist or the guitarist. Like, they all are very important. In fact, there's probably more songs in total that don't have a vocalist. However, when the vocalist is there, it is such a centerpiece in its nature. It's so personality based, and acting is the same way, especially for a series like Sonic, where his personality is what makes him distinct, right? It's one of the main things that people remember about him, for better or for worse, that kind of attitude. It was one of the front-running marketing strategies when they brought this character out into the world, right? So, it means it's especially prominent. So, there's this weird situation where because I've been in the community for a long time, I'm a little bit older, okay, I will admit. So, I'm used to this. So that's why when the Sonic movie was first announced, and it looked more like Sonic, it felt like it was within that realm, right? I grew up with SatAM, the Archie Comics doing its own weird hybrid of modern Sonic and Archie Comics. You've got Lost World, where it's just like a completely more like Mario aesthetic. Modern Mario, that works actually better. But also just a little too cartoony. Like, it's 06 ultra realism and like Final Fantasy-esque. Like, it's been experimental with styles already. So this was nostalgic in that way. Like, it felt authentic in that way. Though I hear these days people complaining about it because they were hoping that the movies would start, like we're seeing in the first Sonic movie in the footage here, it would start, more traditional Hollywood film, but then they would integrate far more Sonic elements moving forward, right? For example, my good friend Sam, in his review for the Knuckles show, one of his biggest letdowns of that show was that the Chaotix were not prominent. And it spent more time kind of developing the human characters, which we can get into another video about the benefits, the pros and cons of that. However, when we zoom out and look at the Sonic movie franchise as it is right now, I will say this is before the Sonic movie 3 has released. It's actually going to be in the next coming weeks. So I will make part 2 on this, and this video is not much longer, as you can see from the timer. So I will literally link it at the end of this when that movie comes out and my follow-up opinions on this general discussion of movie Sonic as a whole. However, as it stands, there is a lacking of game elements. It is hard to judge, right? Because we only have 2 films, which is why I said what I just said. But the Knuckles, that's why it puts the pressure on the Knuckles show, right? It's supplementary content. And so that's kind of where that if you enjoyed the Knuckles show, right, as a Sonic movie fan, maybe like the Sonic movie made you very excited in the franchise, made you more active in the community, right? My answer to you, like, if you asked, like, where's all this hate coming from? It's what I just mentioned. And so movie Sonic, I quite like him, right? But it's not my Sonic, right? Like, I have an idealized Sonic, which I made a video about, which I'll link here. So that's a different discussion about what is my ideal Sonic, who I think Sonic is and should be. But when it comes to, like, as a film, I'm very impressed in their interpretation of the character. And I will forever be grateful we did not go down the dark timeline. But I just wanted to explain kind of how the filter of how I analyze this character and this series, right? It's an understanding that it's a different interpretation that might be unfamiliar to those joining the series now, because there is a little bit more unity. They're trying to, circumvent the past I just described to you earlier in this video. So there is a little bit of a disconnect in that, right? Like, there are people emboldened to say, no, this is what Sonic is. He is this in the main games. But like I told you, there were 2 prominent actors that interpreted Sonic before that have a big influence, and Roger's inseparable from his performance. So it means there's always an opening for something like Movie Sonic, in my opinion. I'll see you next time. Peace.